Welcome to Good Libations, which is our show about mixology. And we're continuing our adventures into different styles of drinks for different reasons. And recently I've had a lot of requests about doing dessert style drinks. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of dessert style drinks in 2 shows. And the first one that I'm going to make involves a blender. And we know that blended drinks went out of fashion a long time ago, and with good reason, I might add, because they became vehicles for making weak, cheap drinks in a bar setting to kind of pawn off on customers, thinking that they're going to be satisfied with that, thinking that this margarita that they're getting that's a frozen margarita is going to satisfy them. And unfortunately, because they use cheap mixes, not enough alcohol, and really no truly quality ingredients, people were turned off on blended drinks. But we can make a really good dessert drink involving a blender, and we can display it very attractively in this nice old-fashioned glass, because that's a nice vehicle for displaying this particular drink. And this drink is going to involve, first of all, putting a sufficient amount of ice in the blender. And we're not going to fill the blender and make a whole blender full, because for demonstration purposes, we're just going to make 1 glass of this particular dessert drink. And I might add, too, that this drink can also lend itself to a making of a non-alcoholic drink for dessert purposes, because instead of using the rum that we're going to use and the coconut rum, you could use one of those vanilla infusions that they have that are typically added to coffees at, espresso bars and so on and so forth. And you could also use a coconut infusion or any particular of those that you like. So keep that in mind, that this could be made as a non-alcoholic drink also. And there are many people who don't drink for health reasons and also for the fact that they're going to be the designated driver, or they just don't choose to consume alcoholic beverages at all. And that's perfectly fine. But I am going to make this drink in an alcohol style. So what we're going to do first of all is put a sufficient amount of ice in the blender. And again, for demonstration purposes, we're not making a whole carafe full of this drink. So here we go. And again, I've gotten wise and I've decided to simplify my ice technique, but not overly so. And as I've frequently mentioned, using an ice bucket is not practical. An ice bucket typically does not hold very much ice. You're going to go through ice and you're going to make a couple of drinks, and it's going to end at that. And you're going to constantly have to be replenishing that supply of ice into the ice bucket. So it is absolutely not practical for bartending purposes. So I'm going to add a bit more ice. And then we're going to start adding the ingredients. And we're going to add golden rum. And we want to add a decent amount. And you can use white rum if you prefer. You could even use dark rum in this particular drink if you so choose. But I like golden rum because you kind of get the best of both worlds. Light rum lacks complexity, and you're not going to get that good rum flavor into the drink. And sometimes dark rum can overwhelm a drink, so golden rum is always a good choice. And we're going to add some coconut rum, not a great deal, but a fair amount of it. And you can substitute other things for coconut rum. You could use triple sec if you wish, because that will marry with rum. You could even use tequila in this particular drink if you wish. And you could add vanilla ice cream also if you wish. But we're not going to do those things today. And we are going to add some lime to this drink. And again, I'm going to leave the spent shell in the glass, one of the spent shells. And we're also going to add some orange to this drink. And we're going to add another fruit too. And we're going to add a frozen fruit, because frozen fruits expedite easy blending of a drink and are more practical to use sometimes than fresh fruits. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and squeeze orange in here. And orange is a natural for rum-based drinks, as is pineapple juice. Usually when people make tropical drinks like Mai Tais, Suffering Bastards, Scorpions, and all the other drinks, they will use orange and pineapple. Although oddly enough, part of the original formula, as we've discussed on earlier shows, for a Mai Tai actually did not involve those juices. And for a garnish, we're going to use a bit of lime and a little bit of orange, just for an attractive flourish once we're finished with this drink. And it looks like we're going to have to add just a little bit more ice. And we're going to add our other fruit here. And I picked, in this particular instance, some frozen cherries, but you could use frozen peaches. You could use really any fruit of your choice. You could use one of those mixed medleys of fruit in this drink, and it's very, very nice. And for those of you who choose to do so, you can also add either sugar or simple syrup that you make yourself in this drink. And I always say make your own simple syrup, because commercial simple syrup has high fructose corn syrup in it, which is not particularly healthful or good. And although some might argue, well, neither is table sugar, it's still better on your liver and on your body than simple syrup. So we're going to go ahead and blend this drink. And we're not aiming for a slushy consistency here, so you can if you wish, by the way, but that's not usually what I prefer to do with this drink. So we're going to go ahead and divest it into the glass here. That really sounds nice. You're getting a sound of petulance, even though there is nothing in this particular beverage that would create that. In other words, we don't have sparkling water or any sort of a soft drink in it. And as I mentioned before, you can make this in a style that involves no alcohol at all if you so choose. So we're going to squeeze in the little bit of orange and the little bit of lime, and that is going to be our garnish. So here we have a lovely drink that is suitable for dessert. And you're not using anything artificial or anything that is not good for you. So you can feel free to enjoy this. And I'm going to have a little sip, in fact. Oh, that is quite good. And it's pleasantly tart, which is the style that I made it in. But again, if you so choose, you can add either simple syrup or bartender's sugar. And again, we appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Good Libations, our show about mixology. I'm Ethel Andrews. I'm a mixologist. And we always want to emphasize to use good sense when we consume alcoholic beverages. We don't want to break the law. We don't want to endanger other people's lives. And we want to keep our community well spoken of. So always be sensible and cautious. Thank you again for tuning in to Good Libations. Goodbye.